Welcome to Pink Caddy Garage. Today we're going to do a short video on how to check some of your front suspension and your steering components. And we're going to use this 1985 GMC pickup as our test vehicle. And I know this one has some issues, so that'll become apparent pretty quickly. So first, let's just take a look at what this test would look like on a vehicle that doesn't have any issues. So to perform a quick check of the condition of your wheel bearings and your steering, just get your tire up in the air and then give it a shake back and forth and see if you can detect any looseness or movement. Nothing there, so that bearing seems to be good. Then to check your steering, grab it at 9 and 3 o'clock. See if you can get it to move back and forth. I don't detect any looseness or hear anything, so this seems to be in good shape, which I would expect it to be. This car is only about 4 years old and it has 22,000 miles on it. So you would expect it to be in good shape. Now let's go look at one that's not. And the one that's not is going to be the one with about 140,000 miles on it. And most of the original 35-year-old plus suspension parts are intact on this truck. So if we grab this at 12 and 6 o'clock, I can feel a little bit of looseness. Let me put the microphone on the wheel. You can hear a little bit of slop there. So typically when you have a noise like that, it is, in most cases anyway, going to be in the center hub here. These bearings either need more grease and to be tightened a little bit. So we're going to take these off in one of our next videos and just check these bearings. If they look good, we're going to repack them with grease, and then we'll get them a little bit tighter and show you just it's a pretty simple job how to do that. The other possibility is it could be your upper ball joint up here, or the lower ball joint could have some slop in it. We'll put a camera under there and I'll show you what that looks like. We're laying here underneath the right side of the truck. So our ball joints are going to be lower ball joint right here. That's the rubber boot for it. It goes through this A-arm. Upper ball joint, same story, goes through that upper control arm. And what they have is some rubber boots on them. You can really see it better on the lit one here. And it does have some cracks in it. So it's not completely gone yet, but it does look really old. So we're going to end up replacing those at some point, but I imagine we're going to rebuild this whole front end. Let's check the steering. To check the steering components, you're going to want to, again, have your tire up in the air. You're just going to take it at the 9 and 3 o'clock positions and shake it back and forth and see if you can detect any movement. I detected a lot of movement. So it really shouldn't move more than maybe a fraction of an inch. Certainly shouldn't hear any clunking. You might even be able to do that without me putting the microphone over there. So if you run across this, your next step is to get under there and see if you can figure out which of your steering components has got a problem. Let's take a look. So we're not going to go over the entire steering system here, but usually when you've got this problem, it may be one of these tie rods. This is an outer tie rod end, so when you're shaking the tire, again, you may want to watch this part, see if you see any movement. And then on the other end, kind of hidden back here, is this inner tie rod, and it may be loose up there at its joint. However, on this truck, those seem to be in pretty good shape for their age. The culprit is going to be up here on this part called the idler arm. Watch this. So I've got the camera set up. Keep an eye on this idler arm right here where it connects to its bracket while I go over here and move the tire. Should not have any of that movement. So we're going to need to put an idler arm on here. So the idler arm was the worst of it, but looking under there, I have a feeling we've got a whole front end rebuild in our future on this truck. But the objective right now is just to get this thing back on the road. So we're going to start with that idler arm and see where we go from there. So this video, again, is really more about the diagnosis of where you need to go if you have any problems. And we'll do that idler arm video next, I imagine, because that's definitely going to need to get fixed before we get this thing roadworthy. Stick around and we'll get the whole front end rebuilt together eventually. Thanks for watching.